Welcome to EP Daily. Today on the show, we run through the latest details on The Flash.
Plus, Jose hacks and slashes in the latest game in the Dragon Quest series.
It is with a stout heart and a keen eye that we march forth.
And then we find out if Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 5 can pull off any sick tricks. Also coming up, Marissa speaks with the animation director behind Rainbow Six Siege. We hit the court with a review of NBA 2K16 and much more today on EP Daily. Brought to you by EB Games. I'm your host, Victor Lucas, bringing you the latest in everything cool every single day, and I've spent all day pillaging resources in order to craft you something incredible. It's called The Rundown. Fallout 4 is on the way, but Bethesda hasn't forgotten about their other big RPG franchise. The studio has announced a new expansion for The Elder Scrolls Online, the MMO set in their dark fantasy universe. Called Orsinium, the new pack promises to give players 20 hours of new content, thrusting them on a new adventure that will take them to the capital city of the Orcs. There will be an entire new zone to explore, along with new PvE content, a new solo arena, new public dungeons, and naturally loads of new gear. Bethesda says Orsinium is their largest add-on yet for the game. It will hit the PC on November 2nd and find its way to consoles on November 17th.
Welcome to my war.
It looks like the big screen Flash movie is off to a running start with an unusual director. Multiple sources report that Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter author, Seth Grahame-Smith is in the running to direct the new superhero film. Although several of his books have been adapted for the big screen, and he's also written several screenplays, this would be his first time directing a movie. Talk about hitting the ground running. Grahame-Smith's only other experience behind the camera was directing 2 episodes of an MTV series, so hopefully he's a fast learner and doesn't stumble. The new Flash film will hit theaters in 2018. It will, of course, be part of the big screen DC cinematic universe, which means it won't have anything to do with the popular TV series featuring the character. Hopefully this won't confuse too many people. A couple of subjects that I know Scott Jones is hot to talk about. Let's talk about The Flash, first of all. They've got a movie that doesn't star Grant Gustin, who kicks butt as The Flash on TV every week. And I've never heard of this guy that's going to be directing it.
I've never heard of him either. I know that writers don't generally, make that leap from writing, which is a very quiet, very private activity, into directing, which is a very public activity where you have to work with lots of other people.
I think it's awesome that a Justice League is finally being assembled, no pun intended. On the big screen. I'm excited to see these superhero movies. I hope they all do really well, but
I've heard that Ben Affleck is up to play the Flash in this.
Is he? And direct?
He could be in it, and he could direct it. He's going to do all Justice League movies going forward.
He's going to be every character in the Justice League?
Yeah.
They'll just color the costume in different colors?
Now I'm Batman. Now I'm Superman.
I love that. I think that would be, that would go great on the internet. I think everybody would love that very much. But let's move over to the Elder Scrolls Online. They are not giving up.
Nope, they aren't. This is really for the obsessives, the people who are so into this world. I think there's such a great mythology there, great characters, lots of details, and people just like to get in there and inhabit and live in this world as much as possible. I don't know where Bethesda finds all of the manpower to create this stuff.
Well, they've got their own MMO specialized studio that just works on this.
Shouldn't all the power be going into Fallout right now?
Well, I think a big chunk of the power is, but they do have this mythology that they've crafted, and people want more of the Elder Scrolls on a regular basis. Probably what will happen here is that the next Elder Scrolls game done by the Bethesda studio in Maryland will probably get people playing this game. As soon as they announce that there's something coming, they'll go and play more online.
I want to get online this weekend. I want you online. I want to have a battle with you, and then let's do some looting.
All right.
Why not?
Sounds good.
We could spend our weekends in worse ways.
Something tells me there's going to be some looting in this next game we're going to be taking a look at. It's Dragon Quest Heroes.
We are talking about a brand new Dragon Quest game. This is Dragon Quest Heroes. Tell me a little bit about creating the world for Dragon Quest Heroes.
It's quite interesting the way this game came about, actually. I mean, we wanted to be doing a Dragon Quest game as an action game for quite a long time. And certainly Mr. Hori Yuji, the founder of the Dragon Quest series, has always wanted to do something along those lines. We actually tried it several times, but the projects were never good enough, and they were kind of cancelled or ended in failure. So we never got those games out. And then about 10 years ago, actually, at the E3 show 10 years ago, Hori Yuji, the founder of Dragon Quest, he met with a certain person from Koei Tecmo Games, a guy called Shibusawa Cole, a very famous game producer from there. They'd stayed in touch and exchanged information and ideas for a while, but nothing really came of it. And then a little bit more recently, Mr. Shibusawa approached Mr. Hori with a proposal to do a Dragon Quest action game of exactly the kind of thing that we've been wanting to do for so long. And we all got together with the Tecmo Koei team and with the Square Enix team, and we discussed how we might want to go about it and what kind of shape the game should take. And then we came up with a plan that we thought could make a really, really good action game out of Dragon Quest.
I noticed it does have a very Dynasty Warriors feel. Was that something that was easily adapted to the world of Dragon Quest?
Obviously there is a Warriors series feel to the game, but that actually wasn't so difficult to get in there. That was quite easy for us. What was perhaps harder and more of a challenge was getting it to feel like a Dragon Quest game, like it's in the world of Dragon Quest, and also how to realize the traditional Dragon Quest elements as an action game, because they've never been an action game before. So I think rather than getting it to feel like a Warriors game, Dynasty Warriors game, to make it feel more Dragon Quest was the real challenge.
And can you tell me about some of the characters that we're going to see in the Heroes game? Are they going to be characters familiar from the Dragon Quest universe, or are you guys going to be creating new characters?
今回ドラゴンクエストは歴代のキャラクター
Yes, there are actually there are a lot of old characters, classic characters from the Dragon Quest series who appear in the game as well. You've got guys like Yangus and Jessica from Dragon Quest 8, and you've got from Dragon Quest 4, you've got Arena and Kirill, you've got Marla and Terry, and a lot of old Dragon Quest characters. But there's also the main characters and a number of other new allied characters which have been designed as completely new original characters by Akira Toriyama, the famed manga artist. And so there's a good mix there of new and old characters.
It is with a stout heart and a keen eye that we march forth, unafraid of this ghastly procession of adversaries.
Update, Vic and I will have a full review of Dragon Quest, World Trees Woe, and the Blight Below coming up soon.
He's going to know how to say the full title as well. Stick around. We've got Tony Hawk Pro Skater 5 in the crosshairs when we come back.
Yo, this is Rocco from Mega64.com, and actually what got me into Star Wars, period, was playing Shadows of the Empire on Nintendo 64. I was in junior high. I just wanted to play more games on my Nintendo 64 that I bought because all I had was Mario. I popped in the game, and me and my brother played through all of the Tatooine level, something like that. The level took all day to complete. And at the end, you had to fight Boba Fett. It was a harrowing battle. It was scary. I remember at one point we put in a code, Wampa Stompa. You could play as a Wampa. And just the John Williams music and all the expansive places we were going, I thought, I should probably get these movies on VHS. And I did, and I was a fan forever. That's my Star Wars memory.
Thank you, Rocco. Great memory. Big fan of what those guys are doing over at Mega 64.
Now it's time for Ben and Jose to Ollie the Magic Bum. It's time for their Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 5 review.
Oh, that's what you mean.
That's what I mean.
Okay.
2015, Jose, it's the year of old video games.
That's all we've been playing, my friend.
How old can we go? Let's go to, how about Tony Hawk? That's an old game, right?
Is he still alive?
He's still alive. He's got a kid. Him and his kid are in this brand new video game, Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 5. That's right. This is not a reboot. This is not a compilation. This is, technically speaking, a sequel to Tony Hawk 4. We had American Wasteland. We had those underground games. Shred.
Ride.
Never talk about those again. Screw all those games, because this is the official, formal, like, 10 years later sequel to Tony Hawk Pro Skater 4. Jose, what do you think?
It feels like I should have been playing this game 10 years ago. This game should have been called Tony Hawk's Pro Sucker, because this game is not good at all. It feels so old. Don't get me wrong, I enjoy me some Tony Hawk Pro Skater 2. It's one of my favorite Tony Hawks. This game has a similar feel to that, but everything else about this game is just broken.
Well, you've got one really big flag right off the bat. This happened to me. I played this game on both the Xbox One and the PlayStation 4.
You doubled down.
I wanted to try it out because there's been a lot of talk on the internet about this game not working. So I thought, well, let's see what happens here. So I downloaded it first on my PlayStation 4, and here's the first gigantic red flag when I was downloading it on my PS4. The game, 4.5 gigs. Not bad.
Yeah.
The patch, 7.5 gigs.
Yeah.
I think this is the first time I've ever actually downloaded a patch for a video game that is almost twice the size of the actual game on the first day the game came out. That's not a good sign, and when you start playing the game, you realize that's an accurate sign of this kind of broken hodgepodge of old Tony Hawk and new ideas, barely, and none of it really comes together and works.
I just don't understand the process of designing the levels and the way that you go to missions and how you're trying to figure everything out. Another big red flag is that you jump into the first level. Okay, we're gonna take on this level, we're gonna skate around. I see these icons. First time I went to the icons, hold X to do the mission. Holding the X button, thing goes up, nothing's happening. All right, let's go to the next one. Went to the other one, try to hold the mission, nothing's happening. And then you realize I could just push the menu button and then missions things pops up. This is awesome. I can pick a mission from here. Screw going to the skate things. Pick a mission, load. Into the mission that's in the level you're already in. Okay. Go to the thing, loads in, you jump in, you do the mission. All right, finish the mission. Great. You want to retry? Ah, okay, you only got 2 stars. You didn't get 3 stars. Let me retry. Load. Back in. All right, we're in the same damn level. Why do you keep loading? This game is Tony Hawk Load Skater.
Even the fact when you start the game, you launch into the game, you're actually launching online into like a room on one of the levels
I know,
with other people.
There's all these people in the world.
27 other people dressed like Tony Hawk. Then there's me, I look like Tony Hawk too. And we're just skating around. We can't really communicate. We're not doing anything together. Now, you can actually form little parties or play little multiplayer games together, but no one's doing that. Everyone is just opening up their menu, doing a mission
Trying to get to 15 stars to unlock the next level.
to get the next level. So everyone's playing a single-player game, but kind of crammed into little rooms together, and none of it makes any sense. There's just no flow back and forth between multiplayer and solo. And worse than that is that these missions, at first you're like, okay, I can
score a high combo. Makes sense.
Get some ice cream cones out of this thing. Like, I get it. They're all goofy and kind of arcadey.
Some grinds.
But 4, 5, 6 levels in, you're doing the exact same missions. It's like they have 10 missions and they just repeat them. Regardless of what level you're on, you're just going to do a new version of that mission. It is infuriating. There is no long-term flow or anything to keep you wanting to play this game, because you've done everything on the first level. You're just going to do it again on a new level. And I think it's time for us to put some scores all over Tony Hawk's new game. Jose, what are you going to give it?
3 out of 10.
Yeah, I'm going to go with a 4 out of 10, even though it says 5 on the box.
Ouch! By the looks of that review, winter is coming for the Pro Skater series.
Yeah, it could be. All right, well, the Rainbow Six Siege beta was very popular, but the full game is almost here. Here are some more details.
Let's talk about the product, shall we? There's a lot of destruction in this game, and that's actually, like, it can be used to our benefit. So talk about how we as a team can use destruction to make the game work for us.
What's interesting about destruction is that it's actually a main gameplay core mechanic. So you can really change a map. The way it plays every time is different depending on how you destroy something. So you're always opening up new sightlines. And because all of our maps are interiors, they're not outdoor arenas, that means that everything is close quarters. So everything's super tense. Add on top of that the destruction, and it makes it an interesting match.
Hang on. Got him. When we're jumping into matches here, there's a 4-on-4 matches, right? So can we talk about each of the characters and what each one brings to the team?
So there's 20 different operators across the board, and they're all taken from actual counter-terrorist units. So their gadgets, their uniforms are all inspired from real-life counter-terrorist units. The entire theme behind the game, behind Rainbow Six Siege, is based off of the idea of playing an operator from a counter-terrorist unit. Each one of their gadgets is specific to an operator, so you can't change that part of the loadout. You can change the weapons and the attachments, but the gadget remains specific to them. Now you also have attackers and defenders, so depending on what your objective is, you're going to want to choose the gadget that works best with who you think you're going to be up against on the other side. Anything from extendable shields to drones that can shock other players and get rid of nitro charges you put on a wall that release grenades on the opposite side.
You have different modes to play in as well with Rainbow Six Siege, so let's talk about them. Let's break them down.
So we've got 2 basic modes, which is the PvE, so online multiplayer, and then you have PvP, which is online multiplayer, and PvE, which is against enemy AI. You can also play co-op, so if you decide to go in to play the Terror Hunt mode against the enemy AI, you can invite other friends in to come and help you out during your missions. So the PvE experience is mission-based, and the PvP experience is competitive online.
Go, breach!
There's also a hostage situation that we might find ourselves in, so how would that work?
You may find yourself in a hostage situation. Depending on which side you're playing, either a defender or an attacker, your role is either to defend them, so keep them safe from the attackers, or to extract the hostage if you are an attacker.
He got me. All right, I got the window. Go!
Nice job, M-Rob. Rainbow Six Siege comes out December 1st.
And stick around, because after the break, Vic and I are reviewing NBA 2K16 after this.
Here's Butler, and the officials whistle a foul on the shot.
Welcome back to the Electric Playground. It's time for Scott and I to get our hoops on.
Our hoops on, that's right. We're doing this, and we're doing this, and we're doing this, and then whoosh, and whoosh, 2 hoop points, yeah.
Mine was a swish.
Passes it to Collison. And off the left side of the rim, and it swirls in for him.
2K has filed their annual installment of their 2K NBA series. This is 2K16. No Michael Jordan. We left him behind a few years ago. He's still in the game here and there. And this year we've got Spike Lee involved. We've got a little bit higher production values. Everybody is kind of getting their feet on the ground now with the Xbox One and the PlayStation 4.
Yeah.
But the big question everybody wants an answer to is, Victor Lucas, what do you think of this game?
2K is once again throwing all their chips in. This is the only sports title that they have to deal with.
That's right. They don't do anything else.
They don't do anything else.
They used to do baseball. They used to do football.
And they do some mobile stuff, and they've done hockey not too long ago.
Henderson, no good.
This is their marquee title, and it shows. They spend all of their money.
Yeah.
It's a very, very expensive experience. You can really feel like there's a plethora of things to do. You've got the blacktop stuff, you've got the online cooperative play and the pro-am stuff. Of course, Spike Lee and the My Career kind of mode in here. Living to Dream, it's called.
Living to Dream, just like our lives, buddy.
Absolutely. I think that's gotten a ton of press and a lot of attention out there, and it's pretty fun. But I think what's happened with NBA 2K is that it's so damn amazing that now you start to nitpick and pick out the things and quibble about, and you can see the seams a little bit, even though it gets better every single year. For my money, it's my favorite sports game.
Aminu with the bucket.
You know what? You're right. They've put all of their marbles into the same bag here. I'm going to go ahead and use the marbles in the bag metaphor.
Okay. All right.
And they work so hard to get everything right across the board. The one thing that stands out and is kind of scary is the way that Shaquille O'Neal looks in this game. They keep cutting to him, and his face is there, and you can hear his voice, and you just think, is this guy like a final boss in Contra? Like, what is he doing here?
No, that's what he looks like in real life, though.
It could be one of the best seasons we've seen in a while.
I'm not a basketball fan, and I don't play these games as much as Vic does, so his opinion matters more.
Butler, and the officials whistle a foul on the...
I am astounded by how much intelligence there is on the defense this year.
Yeah.
All the little tricks that I could use to win in games, they don't work anymore.
No.
This team got together, they saw what people were doing, and they found ways to foil that. They found ways to make it more difficult, and I wound up playing this game thinking more like Phil Jackson than I ever have before.
Yeah, and also this game is very difficult, and it really throws that challenge. It gives you your player rating, and you lose points when you screw up, and you screw up a lot when you're beginning this thing.
A follow, no good.
I haven't seen you smile like this in
love
months.
this franchise, man. This thing is always one of the highlights of the fall, and it doesn't let me down, and it didn't this year as well. And they changed up some of the offensive play as well to make it a new experience and to refine shooting, so you're not always guaranteed to make those jumpers, even if you get it on the on the meter perfectly right, which can be frustrating. But I think it also adds a little element of unpredictability, which you need in a basketball experience.
Yeah,
This is phenomenal.
Yeah, I enjoyed this far more than I thought I would. I was going to give it an 8, but because Shaq's so scary, I'm giving it a 7 out of 10.
A 7? It gets a 9.5 this year from me, only because I know that 2K can make it that much better next year.
What about if you're going to a desert island? Do you bring Batman or this game?
Batman.
Okay. You know, like, I wonder if Spike Lee knew that one day his joints would be in video games.
Yeah, joints in video games.
Yeah.
Tomorrow we're reviewing NBA Live 16, so make sure you come back for that. And don't go away, the Twitter question of the day is up next. If you want more EP, go to our website, epn.tv, for bonus content and full episodes. We're also on Facebook and Twitter.
Welcome back to EP Daily. It is time now for the best part of every episode. It's the Twitter question of the day, and today's question comes from our old friend, Demonic Ritual. He is at demonic_ritual. That's taken, Vic, so you cannot have it.
All right.
His question is, why have first-person shooters taken away the ability to play online split screen? You have to buy 2 consoles, 2 games, blah, blah, blah. We've kind of answered this question on the show before, but it's worth answering again. Victor Lucas, go ahead and answer it for our old friends, Demonic.
Okay. Can we call him Demonic?
Mr. Ritual, I think he prefers.
Okay, all right. Well, the big reason now, I think there have been a variety of reasons in the past, but now it's all based on analytics and all based on the data that the game companies are collecting all of this information on exactly how players are consuming.
Not enough people are doing it, so it's not in the games
That's why
anymore.
we're starting to see multiplayer-only games.
But there are some people out there who still want it.
I know. I guess that's why things like Kickstarter are worthwhile.
Yeah, sorry, Mr. Ritual.
Good question. If you've got a question for us or you want to get caught up on the show, go to epn.tv.
That's it for today's episode. But in a future episode, we've got a closer look at Guillermo del Toro's latest Crimson Peak. Thanks for watching, everybody.
See you tomorrow. EP would like to thank its sponsors, Nintendo, Xbox. EP's mobile coverage is brought to you by Gameloft, makers of Asphalt 8 Airborne, which you can play on your Android or iOS device for free right now.
She knows who I am and she wants me to leave.
Nonsense, my dear. The ghosts are really beautiful. The same way Pan's Labyrinth, the monsters were so beautiful. They're heart-wrenching, and Guillermo has a story for each of them, the ghosts, and why they look a certain way, and perhaps that's why it's so rich to look at them and just to look into their eyes.
I have to get away from here.
Edith, this is your home now.